Directly from the planet of Brooklyn, MC Light as a rock. Must I say it again? I said it before.
Hey, what's up, people? We are back again. Welcome back to the Beer Flow Show. Tonight it is the Light as a Rock episode. So for those of you not familiar with MC Light, you should be. If you're actually going to say you know hip-hop, then you need to know who MC Light is. One of the first early female rappers. In fact, the first female rapper to have a whole full album out. And it was this one right here, Light as a Rock, that got it all started. So why Light as a Rock tonight? Because tonight we're getting into Stone Brewing. And a stone is a rock, or a rock is a stone, however you want to call it, however you want to play it. That's on you, as Average Joe would say. Speaking of which, we got Average Joe in the house tonight. We got Eric, a Lions fan. We got Todd. What's going on, fellas? What are you guys up to tonight? Come on in, chime on in, introduce yourselves.
Go ahead, Joe. I'll start with you, bud.
I don't have a channel though, so I feel like I will go to you first, Eric. You're the only one that has a channel aside from Rajay.
All right.
Awkward.
What's up, YouTube? It's Eric, Lions fan. Thanks for clicking on Rajay's channel. I'm Eric, Lions fan. I blog about Detroit Tigers, Detroit Lions stuff. I have beer reviews. Unfortunately, I don't have a beer that we're going to be talking about today. I just got a Marzen-style beer from a local brewery. But, guys, check me out. I'm Eric, Lions fan on YouTube. Go ahead and check me out. Leave it there.
Joe from Buffalo.
I am the so-called corrupter, groomer, point man of YouTube in the beer community. I like to groom people to corrupt. That's what I do. And I have no channel, and Rod invites me every week to these chats, and I still don't know why, but I'm on board, I guess. So it's a lot of fun.
And then over across the river from me in Indiana, Todd.
I am Todd from Indiana, and I'm in the same boat as Joe. No channel, but Rod still invites me back every week for some unknown reason.
He corrupts a little less of a corrupter and groomer, more of just an average.
I'm not the corrupter. I got to leave that to you.
Yeah. In the default kind of way, you guys have become like sidekicks to this channel, so it's almost like you're a channel there. So
we're Ed McMahon.
Yeah. At some point, we're just going to fully commandeer your channel, Rod.
Right.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's like Gladys like the Pips. You guys are the Pips, you know.
Was that an M in there? Or no?
Yeah, it's the great Wesley Snipes would say, Pips.
So for those of you guys that are checking in every Thursday night, usually we started getting together a while back, but now it's kind of something I call the Beer Flow Show. So we kind of get on here, drink some beers, talk about some beer, and then kind of flow into some different type of background stuff. Tonight, our feature brewery, which we started just a couple weeks ago, we took off last week. We're going to actually take a look at Stone Brewing. I'm going to let Joe handle that part. Joe does all the good research, and we'll get into some good discussion about them. And in fact, tonight I will be drinking, well, the first one I'll be drinking is a Stone IPA. So just about everybody had it out there that knows Stone. A lot of people start with the IPA when they start with Stone. And then Joe and Todd, they got some other ones there that they'll talk about as well. But I want to pop mine open. If you guys want to talk about anything right there on your beers, go right ahead.
I will default to Todd. Todd, what do you?
I am drinking the Hail to the Hop Thief Double IPA. It is, I believe, a 21st anniversary beer bomber that they released weeks ago, and thought, well, hey, was doing Stone, why not tonight? It checks in at 9.8 ABV, but I don't see the IBUs listed on the bottle. I didn't check beforehand, so I'm not sure on that, but haven't had it yet, so I'm interested.
I mean, mine either.
What a date?
But mine is 6.9 ABV.
Yeah, I am drinking the bourbon barrel aged Arrogant Bastard. Everyone knows Arrogant Bastard. Probably their most well known here. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, bourbon barrel age. Oh my God. I'm not going to zoom in, but this is a 2015 vintage, so it's like over 2 years old. I'm sure it'll be terrible. 8.1%. And also the one thing everyone knows about Stone is they like to write, little short stories on all of their bottles, because why not? Does anyone really read them? They don't. They really don't.
I do.
Eric does, but he doesn't even have a Stone beer tonight, so he doesn't count.
They do put the date on there, though.
They do.
Which is nice. Although they put it in a light print that you really have to stare at it to take a look to see what
do they
it
have
is.
an enjoyed by date and then a bottle line and an enjoyed by date?
They do both, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see that on my bottle. I was looking for it, but I don't see one on here.
Yeah, it says it was born basically 8/21/17, best by 12/4/17.
Todd, it's usually up by the neck is where they're usually at.
Just like New York.
That's what I thought.
Check the neck.
Usually.
Oh, I see it now. It's in yellow, but my old ass can't read it right now.
Like I said, right? It's like such a light print.
Yeah,
you couldn't have put it anywhere else on label. You could put everything else in white print on this long story, but you can't put the date in the white print as well.
No, yeah, it's on yellow. Mine actually, for being 2 years old, didn't rub off or anything. That's amazing.
All right.
They usually do a pretty good job about dating their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've got it down there pretty solidly along those lines.
Even though I'm not drinking a Stone tonight, I actually like a lot their Enjoyed by series. I like that. Probably the best Stone beer out of any of them. Now, I haven't had the Arrogant Bastard Bourbon Barrel like what Joe has, but I've always enjoyed the Enjoyed by series.
So what are you drinking there, Eric?
Actually, I'm drinking a Marzen style lager. It's from a local brewery. It's Rochester Mills. It's their Oktoberfest Celebration Lager. It's probably one of the best, to me, Marzen style lagers out there. And it's made by a local company here in Auburn Hills.
I've heard of Rochester before. I've heard of that brewery.
Yeah, Rochester Mills is known for their milkshake stout series. They do a bunch of different variations of it.
Yeah, they got a blueberry, a pancake.
Mm-hmm.
Blueberry one and a pancake one. Interesting. Does it bring all the people in the yard?
Say that one more time.
Does it bring all the people in the yard? My milkshake.
That would be the first and last callous mentioned ever on the show, hopefully.
Hopefully, right. It was like right there. It's low-hanging fruit. So,
I opened the door, Joe. I opened the door.
Hopefully, ever. Hopefully. Please. Never again.
Yeah. So, earlier this week, I was actually looking at some stuff. And what did I see? Constellation Brands, apparently they're jumping off pretty well with Corona. So I don't know if you guys saw or not, but they're actually planning to expand further with their Corona beers. They're launching Corona Premier in February. So this will be a 90-calorie option versus their extra at 149, kind of going for that light beer market. Don't know what the ABV is. They didn't indicate it, but they're trying to put a big push on for more of the Corona beer in the marketplace.
Don't they already have that with the Corona Light?
Yeah.
Or is that not really considered a light beer?
Apparently, they want to go Premier nationwide now, too.
There already seems to be a lot of light beer in general.
Pretty soon there'll be a Corona Prestige Worldwide.
Worldwide. I'd buy that just for the name alone. Especially if the packaging was cool.
If it were Step Brothers on the packaging. Prestige Worldwide.
Prestige Worldwide.
Worldwide,
brother.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. This is another interesting one. Now, this is something that I don't know if it's just for the ladies or not, but an interesting story. The Portsmouth Brewery has created a beer for women going through menopause. Liberation, and I made a little play on the word beer and liberation, is described as fun, crazy, and wildly different. A herbalist was actually used to help find a long list of herbs to use in the beer that all have benefit effects, alleviating symptoms associated with menopause. The herbs were used instead of hops to add balance and bitter to the beer. So I don't know where else to go with that one. It's just saying that they got a menopausal beer coming out from one of the Portsmouth breweries up there in New Hampshire.
I'm not sure you could really use fun in the description when you're talking about menopause, can you?
That's how they described it. We don't have any of our female fellow community on to really, but I don't think anyone has gotten to that level yet anyway, but
that would be ideal. That would be very ideal to have someone who could speak about it and actually have experience it.
Holly or any other woman out there who wants to chime in.
Yeah, otherwise we'll just refrain from saying anything.
Any of you ladies want to let us know there? That's fine.
Breeze on through that one and on to the next.
Yeah, absolutely no opinions. Absolutely no opinions from any of us.
No Cam Newton mistakes here. So
no. Yeah. I don't know if we can call that a mistake. It's a little bit of a difference.
But if any women are out there getting to that level, here's a beer you might want to check out. So I don't know what it's supposed to taste like. Apparently in the story, one of the other brewers, I mean, she's a female brewer that did this one. But one of the guys there, they did some tasting of the herbs, and the one guy said it kind of mellowed him out. He was kind of really relaxed and took a nap afterwards. So,
how many did he drink? Would be my question.
Yeah. They sound like
he took the words right out of my mouth.
I threw back a 6-pack, and all of a sudden I was just mellow, and everything was fine. Oh, really? What happened? Sure, it wasn't the herbs.
It might have been. Speaking of herbs, there are some breweries right now trying to push, and I just put this on the Facebook page. If any of you guys out there look at the Facebook page, to try to get the mix of the cannabis and beer together. Yeah. More so than what Lagunitas, because Lagunitas just did it with theirs when there's no THC, but they are trying to get a push as more of these laws get alleviated. Although those were really pre-sessions, so I don't know if that's going to still happen, because it seems like sessions are now might go after some of these states that have legalized marijuana in some way. But if they put it in the beer, they put it in the beer.
Yeah, I mean, Lagunitas should be all over it since they've been, doing the whole stoner thing for like 20 plus years. They're like one of the first breweries that, were all about it. So that makes sense.
Would you would think a name like Stone would have been the first one out there, but
sure, you put an R on the end of it. And
Stoner IPA.
Stone-R IPA. Stoner IPA. There you go, Stone. You're in the play.
It's very, dare I say, herbaceous.
Yeah. But that's a couple of stuff I saw there in the beer news. And you guys ever write in cursive, by the way?
That is the most random question ever. My answer is no. No, I don't think anybody really does anymore.
It was a random thought I had earlier. I was just thinking, like, how many people actually still write in cursive anymore?
I'm the only one signing my name.
Yeah.
Rob, we need proper segues if we're going to run this properly. I mean, you can't just segue into that question without segueing.
Writing in cursive, you probably confuse the hell out of people nowadays. Like, what is he writing right there? It's like the people that get upset when they hear people speaking Spanish in parts of the country. You just start speaking Spanish for the hell of it, just start pissing people off. Start writing in cursive.
2 or 3 years ago, my daughter's school, they stopped teaching cursive.
Yeah, a lot of schools have, from what I heard.
Yeah. We have up here 2 times.
I think they've recently implemented it back in, so let's see.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of, teaching stuff that matters, and cursive hasn't mattered in a long time, other than like you guys signing your name, potentially. Some people don't even do that. They just, whatever. I guess that says your name. I don't know. It just looks like scribble.
I remember when I learned the cursive at the time, I was going to Catholic school, so we had the nuns and stuff. Never really got hit with the rule or anything like that, but you definitely didn't want to mess up the A.
You didn't want to get hit with the rule. So you made sure you knew what you were doing. You're like, I totally know how to do this Z. I know what I'm doing. Am I ever going to use it? Probably not, but I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, it
12-inch incentive to write nicely.
It popped in my head earlier for some reason today. And I'm like, I wonder if anybody's still writing in cursive, and probably the ones that are probably 9 out now. So
yeah,
because I don't think a lot of younger kids. I mean, they're actually more texting than anything. They're not even writing anymore. Like, I'll send you a text.
And they can't even text correctly.
Yeah,
like proper English anyway. It's just all
gobbledygook.
Yeah, it's just like they're like, don't you know what none of this means? No, and I shouldn't. I don't.
Is there a full word in there? Because all I see is content right now.
That's like, I don't even know what's happening right now, and I don't even want to know. So.
Well, it's like checking accounts. Like, I don't have checking accounts. They just Venmo everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? Do what? What do you do?
It's a check.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Get him a Bitcoin. That's old
Yeah.
school now. Bitcoins are old school.
Yeah. I'll give you 0.1 Bitcoin. What?
Speaking of old school, they're coming out with a Super Nintendo, little mini Super Nintendo system. There's a
Yeah,
little-
that's
Yeah,
NES
put the
Classic.
games on it or something, isn't it?
yeah. I'd almost get that just to get Tecmo Bowl back again.
Oh yeah,
I think they're-
Tecmo Bowl.
I think they're coming out with the Coleco or the Commodore 64 too, I believe.
Are they really?
I think so. I thought I saw and read something about that. We're gonna bring that back out. I don't think it's gonna be ready for Christmas, but
There's some old school gaming.
yeah, no kidding.
For sure.
So what do you got on Stone for us, Joe?
Well, before I go on to that thing, I had one piece of information. Was a couple weeks ago we were talking about Beer Advocate, how they switched their rating system to the 3.75 or higher is like, 3.75 or lower is not liked. Apparently, a lot of the Beer Advocate users were not happy with that. So based on feedback, they changed it actually to a straight up out of 5 rating based on all averages from all reviews. So if you go back to Beer Advocate now and you go to any beer, it's strictly out of 5, kind of like Untapped is, and it's just all averages. There's no weight or anything. So
they got rid of that quick. They got rid of the 100 points and knocked it down to the 5.
I mean,
yeah, they went from a
weeks.
yeah, they went from 100 to the percentage of liked to out of 5 in like a matter of 2 weeks. Well, but at least they're listening to their users. I mean, you probably want to listen to the people who actually use your site, and it's good they came with the feedback and was like, hey, people don't enjoy this. I get it, so we'll switch it to something that everyone enjoys. So I mean, I didn't necessarily hate the whole like thing. It was weird to just determine randomly that 3.75 and higher means you like the beer. What was stopping it from being 3.5? What was stopping it from 4? Like, I don't know. But to go to just taking everybody's average that rates the beer out of 5 seems like probably the proper way to do it, I would think, right? I mean, I don't have any I mean, it seems okay. Then again, I'm sure in a week from now they'll change it to like a letter score or something, and we'll have to revisit. It should be a lot of fun. Can't wait.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, for sure. And so no other news or anything? You want to hop into Stone Brewing Company? Hello?
I don't have any.
I don't
Rob?
have anything either.
Rajay BeerVentures? Is he frozen?
He's
He
asleep.
might be frozen.
We'll see.
So it's your show, Joe.
There he goes.
Oh, he's gone.
Now who's the host? Eric has a channel. So he's the host.
Oh,
Now it's your channel, Joe.
Oh, damn it, he's back. Yeah, so
It's never good when the host gets kicked out of her own damn show. I tell you, freaking Google, biggest technology company out there, and you guys have your own damn stuff screwed up.
So you go on, continue to rant. I'm on board.
No, it's just this freaking Google is a piece of shit. I mean,
Ooh.
all the money they take in, and they can't actually put together networks without their own stuff breaking on them. If you can't do it right, give it back to YouTube and let them run the way they used to run it before. Do something.
Bravo,
I want to
bravo.
apologize for the language. We're not after 10 p.m. yet, and this is not cable. So I guess it doesn't matter. But
Damn it! If I'm gonna say shit, that was something to say shit about.
that's twice now we're getting fined. So
Let's get demonetized.
there's no more. You have no more news stories. Nothing. Just go into the Stone
I
Brewing.
had a couple of those things. I mean, there's other things that are floating around out there, but those were only like the two that kind of piqued my interest at the time. Like, oh, that's interesting. Because, like you said, Corona is already doing a lot with the market anyway with their stuff, and then the menopause brews. That's something you see every day. So I figured I'd share those two. I try to find a unique and surprising type stories.
So I'm trying to find a way to segue into the Stone Brewing Company. Menopause to Stone Brewing doesn't seem appropriate.
Well, I mean,
herbal character. Hello, Stone. Great segue. We're good.
well, the original went back to segue out of MC Light because it was light as a rock. But
that's true.
Yeah,
that at least was a segue of some sort.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, if you guys didn't see the episode 2 weeks ago, we broke down and talked about Bell's Brewery. It was a pretty good episode, and everyone gave their 2 cents. basically mentioned how this will work. This week, though, I'm going to try to cut down the history of the brewery a little bit, and just because everybody has the Google machines, they can get on Wikipedia or the Stone website and check out the history. So I'll just do a quick rundown of the history. We'll get into what beers are available, and then different opinions from panel members about their favorite brewery, the favorite beer, first experience, general thoughts, things of that nature. So if you're familiar with craft beer, you're most likely familiar with the Stone Brewing Company. They are, as of now, this might have changed. You never know with actual statistics on the interwebs, but I guess based on last year's sales volume, they are actually the 9th largest craft brewery in the United States of America, and probably one of the largest craft breweries, period, in the world. They were originally founded by Stephen Wagner and Greg Cook in, I believe it was San Marcos, California in 1996. That brewery is still occupied to this day by the Port Brewing Company and I don't know how well this will come off, but the Lost Abbey Brewing Company. They actually are in the old Stone Brewery to this day. From 1996 to 2006, a lot of good things happened with Stone. A lot of people got introduced to Stone. But in 2006, they actually opened up a brand new state-of-the-art facility in Escondido, California, where I think most people are familiar with them being in Escondido to this point. They opened up a huge brewery. They had their Stone Brewing, I believe it's called World Bistro and Gardens, which was an 8,500 square foot restaurant, opened up with it. And they have been there ever since. But since 2006, they've done a lot of different things. For instance, in 2013, they opened up a packaging hall just south of the brewery, which houses their bottling and kegging lines. In 2013, they opened up a second Stone Brewing World Bistro and Gardens in the Liberty Station development of Point Loma neighborhood of San Diego. They also opened up another location in the Terminal 2 of the San Diego International Airport. So if you ever do go to San Diego, you can get a Stone beer in the airport, which is pretty fantastic. In 2014, different parts of it, they actually announced plans to open their Stone Brewing Berlin in the German capital, and they also chose an East Coast facility to make a second brewery for Stone, and they chose Richmond, Virginia. And by 2016, last summer actually, they were up and running in Berlin with their whole brewery and everything. And if you actually follow some of the UK beer tubers like Peter from the Clueless Drinker and Craig from Kent Beer Reviews and Rob Hopzine and all those guys, they've actually had a lot of the Berlin brewed Stone products. So if you're curious to see if there's a difference between the two, I don't know. I've never seen a UK guy actually take an American brewed Stone product and then a German brewed one. I think that'd be cool to see at some point. I don't know how likely that is, but if you're interested in like hearing about the Berlin products, definitely check out some of the European reviewers for sure. And basically, that's most of the stuff they've done to this point. They're huge. Everybody knows Stone, right? I mean, at this point, everybody here on the panels had at least one Stone beer, if not, 10s, 20s, different ones. They consider, as far as beers go, that their flagship ale, because it was the first beer they produced, was their Stone Pale Ale. They say it's their flagship. I would say they're probably most well known for Arrogant Bastard. That kind of like put them on the map because it was one of those beers, drinking the bourbon barrel aged version here, where you have a little spiel on the back, and it would say stuff, and it probably says it on this. Can't be bothered to read it. Like, you're not manly enough to deal with the bitterness that Arrogant Bastard brings to the table. It's like, settle down, Stone. But back then, when they first had it, it was like, hey, it was something completely, out in left field, different, and it kind of, just, I guess, surprised people, and they didn't know what the hell they were drinking. Nowadays, at least me personally, Arrogant Bastard, it's all right. Salad. I enjoy it. But so that's pretty much the history of Stone. Like I said, if you want to know more about Stone, hit up Wikipedia. 100% accurate all the time.
So there, that is true.
You can always go to the actual website too. I think it's stonebrewing.com. They have a great history page. They talk more in depth about like Greg Cook and Stephen Wagner and how everything came to be. And it's actually a lot longer than the stuff they put on the bottles. So that's kind of scary. I read it all. But anyway, as far as beers go, again, I'm going to just go right from Wikipedia. They have it on the web page. It's kind of accurate. I'm looked at both. It's easy to read it on Wikipedia, but their year-round releases are what Rod has this evening, and that's Stone IPA. They actually altered the dry hop recipe last year in 2016. Available in 12, 22 ounce and bottles, and then also 12 ounce cans. Stone Delicious IPA, which they introduced in 2015, which is a reduced gluten-free IPA. Any of you guys had the Delicious IPA from them before?
I've had the Delicious. I think I had the Delicious here as well.
Gosh.
I did not know it was gluten reduced.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you look on it, I'm sure, under the 75 different paragraphs I have about the beer, it'll say something on there.
Huh. Yeah, it's a Delicious IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Holding back on my gluten, man.
Yep. And another one of their year-round releases is Stone Ruination Double IPA 2.0. Everyone should be familiar with Ruination. They actually replaced the original one in 2015, just because it was good to see Stone kind of, reformulated some of their year-round offerings, because they figured this, even though, a lot of people buy Ruination and like it, the recipe's kind of outdated at this point. So let's give it a tweak, and they changed it to 2.0. Surprise to me, but their Stone Tangerine Express IPA is also year-round. If anyone out there has had that, I've not had that, but it is technically year-round. Their Stone Ripper Pale Ale, which I've had, is also year-round at this point. And then Stone Go-To IPA, which Rod also has this evening.
I also have that too, yeah.
Yep, the last year-round offering that Stone produces. As far as their seasonal releases go, Stone Imperial Russian Stout, which is a fantastic Russian Imperial Stout. If you've never had a chance to try it, check it out. Great for the style. Their Old Guardian Barley Wine, another good American-style barley wine. Their Stone and Joy by IPA, which Eric mentioned earlier tonight being one of his favorite. That's awesome, rotating. Again, they call it a seasonal, but I feel like it's probably seasonal for each state, because certain states don't get the Enjoy by every single release, so maybe seasonal in that respect. I'd say more of a rotating offering. Their Enjoy by Black IPA is a seasonal release. I've never actually had the Enjoy by Black IPA, but I've known people out there that have had it. Any of you guys?
I have not had that one.
No, that's I've seen it, never tried it. And then there's Stone Ruin 10 Triple IPA, which was, I believe, the 10th anniversary of Ruination. They did a big hopped up version of it like crazy, and it was so well received in, I think it was 2012, that they actually bring it back every year in the summertime, and they produce it every year, and everyone seems to like it. I've had that multiple times. Awesome beer. And then one that was actually, I believe, they put on that homebrewer thing every year, but Chocoveza was one of the winners a couple years, like 3-4 years ago, and that is their Mexican style imperial stout that they release every year now. It actually just showed up here last week, and it should be showing up in most Stone distribution points, I'd say by sometime the middle of this month. Chocoveza, how you guys experience Chocoveza?
That's a good beer.
It's fantastic.
Last year I did. It was very good.
Is Todd? I know. Todd, come on.
No, I haven't had that one.
Todd, what are you doing? We're trying to be professionals here. Professionally amateur, that is.
I'm out of my league.
Todd's still learning.
I'm a newbie.
Unbelievable. But the last seasonal release is their Stone Anniversary Ale series, which I think Todd actually has that right now. That's the one he's drinking. Isn't that the 21st anniversary beer right there? Yuri. So Todd did something right here. No Chocoveza, but 21st anniversary ale. That's cool. They also had, I don't know if any of you guys, their Vertical Epic series, which they started releasing in 2002, 222, 333, all the way up to 12, 12, 12. And I think they rebrewed a few of those last couple years. I actually tried a handful of them, and they were always very unique. They have, again, if you're interested in like what they're brewed with, go to Wikipedia, has the breakdown of each vertical ale. But it was one of those things where they did the whole, they were going to release each one year, 1 month, 1 day apart from February 2nd of 2002 all the way up to December 12th of 2012. And then there's a shit ton of collaboration beers. Let's be honest with Stone. They do ridiculous amounts of collaboration beers. If we tried to sit here and mention every single one of them, I think you'd have negative viewers, which would be okay. Because, no big deal. But there's a lot. And then lastly, their Arrogant Brewing series. Now, we mentioned Arrogant Bastard earlier. In 2015, they were just like, you know what? Everybody likes Arrogant Bastard, and it's such a big name. We're gonna make it a separate brand, call it Arrogant Brewing, and then just do a bunch of different variations on it. So a lot of you have probably seen their Arrogant Bastard Ale, obviously, but then they have like the bourbon barrel aged version, their Double Bastard. They did a version with espresso beans called Depth Charge. They did Lucky Bastard. They did Double Bastard. Yeah, they did Double Bastard in the Rye, Oaked Arrogant Bastard, Southern Charred. They did their Crime and Punishment series, which was I think that beer with Super Hots. I had both of them actually with the Albino Rhino. They're on his channel. We actually liked him, but probably in like 2-ounce doses because it was just, the peppers were intense. But they do so many different variations, and I guess it must be doing well to break off and just be like you're going to be your own series or your own brewing company, kind of just Arrogant Brewing. But so that's basically Stone. Like I said, if you are a beer nerd, if you're into craft beer, you've had Stone. You know Stone. You know what's up with Stone. I think we're all in agreement that stop with the paragraphs upon paragraphs on your labels. Come on, we don't have time to read all that. Yeah, it's too much. Like you're just wasting materials at that point. Ink, screen print, whatever. Just stop. Just put the ABV and maybe put that date in a different color so we can all see it.
Well, yours looks better on that bottle.
I think they were better years ago.
Yeah, that looked good.
Yeah, this is actually, I can see it. Yeah, it's one of those things where, or just put it on the label or somewhere where you can see it. But whatever, it's cool. You put your bottling date on there. Anyways, it's good times. All right, so now that you know the history in the beers, let's get into everybody's first experience with the beer, starting with Eric. First experience with the brewery period.
While you guys are talking too.
All right.
Well, my first experience with Stone was their Enjoyed By series. It was actually, I think it was the 4/20/16 version. That beer was just outstanding to me. I believe I gave it probably an A+ or world class score when I had it. It was just one of the better IPAs I've ever had, and I haven't really had one as good as the Enjoyed By series. But of course, it's my own personal opinion. You guys might disagree with me, but it was one of the best ones I've ever had, and I haven't really had another good one since then. But I haven't had a Stone beer probably since that one. I mean, I've been trying different beers and all that, but Stone is a solid brewery. I mean, I've had their Arrogant Bastard and I've had the Ruination 2.0, which I really didn't care for, but I mean, their Enjoyed By series is one that I always keep going back to.
Nice. I mean, I feel like most people really do enjoy the Enjoyed By series.
Yes.
It's at this point, even though it's relatively new in like the last 5 years, I'd say it's kind of like a classic beer for them at this point. It's like beer I think everybody seeks out. How about you, Rod? What's your some of your favorite beer, or what's your first experience, I should say, with the brewery in general?
Well, my first experience with them was the one I'm drinking right now, which is the Stone IPA. So that's the first beer I actually had with Stone.
Nice.
And it was a nice little experience. I mean, I still enjoy it from time to time. It's solid as an IPA, of course. They kind of are known for that as an iconic beer when you look at it now for the IPAs that are out there. I would say it's not my favorite one from them now, but it was definitely the one that got me going when I started trying Stone and checking out what they had to offer.
And that was the IPA was the first experience you had with them?
Yeah, that was the first I had with them. Yeah.
Nice. How about you, Todd? First experience with the brewery?
Yeah, it was the same with me. The Stone IPA was the first one that I had from them. It was at a beer festival, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't swear to it. But it was back in like 2012, 2013, somewhere.
Nice.
Still a solid IPA. It's kind of like the weeks ago with the Bell's Two Hearted Ale. It kind of surfaces everywhere at restaurants, and it's a great go-to beer that you can get, on a regular basis, I guess.
Has anyone had the Mocha IPA, which Rod has up?
Yep.
That's my favorite one from Stone.
I don't know if that's going to be something they bring back every year. It's probably one of those.
This was the second or third year they've had it.
Well, click on where it says View Pass releases. It might be something that it's right underneath the.
It only comes out like once a month. Where do you see View Pass releases at?
Right underneath June 5th, 2017. Right underneath the release date. It says right there.
Yeah, so June 2016. So it's only the year out.
So it looks like it's going to be a summer, or I guess a late spring type.
Yeah, it's a seasonal one. So it comes out in June, and actually one of my places here actually still has it there, but I think it's probably June through August, maybe September, because it's saying 4 months is what they want for the one to enjoy.
And I was glad to see them bring back something like that because it was years ago they did. I mentioned the collaborations earlier, which I wasn't going to get into just because there's 7 billion of them. But they did Dayman, I believe, was the release where they did a coffee IPA where it was, I think, again, kind of like Chocoveza was a homebrew winner, and they brewed it. It was Alman, Two Brothers, and Stone Dayman Coffee IPA. It was brewed with coffee roasted by Two Brothers Brewing, released in 2013. I remember a lot of people loving that beer because at that time, you're talking 4 years ago, there weren't many, if any, coffee IPAs, and it kind of blew some people's mind, grossed out others. But I remember a lot of people who like that beer were very excited when they saw Mocha IPA come back, just because it was like a different take on the style, but kind of like another take on Dayman with chocolate added. So it was.
Do y'all think like the middle of summer is kind of a weird time? I know it's an IPA, but being like the mocha coffee type, don't you think that'd be like perfect for a gear towards?
I mean, I like you take two of my favorite styles, 2 out of the top 3 are stouts and IPAs, and you're going to put them together. Not really a wrong time of year for me for that. So
I guess. Well, you see a lot of this when there's discussions among beer geeks about like certain people are like, I can only drink stouts in the darker month, or the darker month. I can drink darker beers in the winter months, and I can drink IPAs and lighter beers in the summer. And I get that part of it, but I'm kind of like Rod, where honestly my mood dictates what I want to enjoy as opposed to the time of year, if that makes any sense. Like,
that's the same with me. But I was just thinking that from an industry standpoint.
Yeah.
Well, it is an IPA.
It's not one you're really drinking on a hot summer day, but even like in summer, if it's like in the night and you're out on the back deck and you're smoking a cigar or something like that, or you're, somewhere where you just relax, and it's a great beer to relax going into the evening.
And it has enough IPA characteristics where it kind of works for, I guess, the spring, summertime too. It's not, it's not like a hop forward stout. It's just, a chocolate and coffee forward IPA.
It's really a unique beer. I mean, everybody I've kind of told that I've had it, and anybody I've ever told to try it, they really get blown back by it. Like, I've never had anything like this where it comes together. It's really a unique formula they're using.
I agree.
I think as big as Stone is, they do some really good stuff. I mean, it's few and far between of any beer that I've had from them that's been like, it's just not that good.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time you get it, you can almost guarantee, you can almost expect it to be pretty solid.
And Eric, not Eric, but Joe was talking about the Eric and Brewing, and they're who you calling a wussy. That's become one of my more favorite pilsners to drink as well.
Really, from the Eric and Brewing?
I kind of like that one.
Nice. Yeah, to go back to Todd's point, like I feel, when it comes to Stone, it's kind of like when you drink a lot of these big breweries. We had Bell's last week, and we were pretty much of the opinion that they're a well-rounded brewery. You don't see too many beers from them that you dislike. Most of them are well made for the most part, and there are a lot of really good ones. I think at this point in time, when you're talking about some of these bigger breweries, I mean, yes, the macros, the Budweisers and the Miller and Coors and all that stuff. Yes, when you're talking consistency, those breweries do have consistency when it comes to the beer specifically. Doesn't matter kind of where you're drinking it, where you're buying it, it's going to be the same beer. I think consistency for like Stone and Bell's is more like they consistently make very good beer. Like it's one of those things where they put out a special release, they put out a seasonal, they put out whatever. it's usually good. Very rarely are you drinking a Stone product and going, oh, this is gross, I never want to drink this again, or oh, what am I doing? Do they have some of those beers? Sure. I mean, we've all had beers from certain breweries that we probably hate, and then we have from the same brewery, beers that we love. But I think Stone's one of the better, more consistent breweries that put out, release after release is quality every time. So it's good from that standpoint. To finish up the first experience, my first experience is kind of just the same as everybody, mostly Rod and Todd, where Stone IPA, Stone Pale Ale, Stone Ruination. I had them for the first time ever in like 2010, 11. And I just remember not liking them because I didn't really care for hop forward beers back then. So it was like, not a huge fan, Stone. So then I came back for their Russian Imperial Stout and a couple other, what the hell was it? Their smoked porter. And then they did their smoked porter with vanilla beans, which I don't think they produce either one of those. I don't like smoked beers too much, but the smoked porter with vanilla beans was like, I don't know, it's mind blowing to me. I was like, this is fantastic. And then I just started trying different things from Stone after that, even their hop forward offerings, because I started liking IPAs and just everything they produced. I was like, hey, I'll try it more often than not. Just great beers. So I've always had a pretty high opinion, with Stone. Maybe the first 6 months, maybe not as much, but I was ignorant, didn't know what I was doing. I guess the next thing would be, we don't even have to do this really because everyone's already said it, but like favorite beer. I mean, clearly for Eric, it's the Stone Enjoy By series. That's his jam. Yep. That's his jam. Outside of that though, Eric, do you have any other beer from them that like sticks in the back of your head, good or bad, something you've had a bad experience with, good experience, either way?
The Ruination, I mean, it was a well-made beer, the Ruination 2.0, but it was something to me that I thought maybe could have been a little better. But again, you're talking to someone that drinks a lot of macro style beers too.
But that's a good to have that opinion from someone who does that, because it's not, I know, not everyone's sitting here drinking nothing but craft. It's good to have that, I guess. The thing is when you get in these shows, everyone's like, oh, yeah, I drank 7 billion different craft beers. So to have someone who started with macro, still enjoys macro, it's nice to get their opinion and their feedback too, to see, just how their opinion.
I enjoy Miller Lite. That's my go-to beer. But
we're gonna have to cut that out somehow. We're gonna have to cut that out.
What's that, Joe?
So we're gonna have to cut
the viewer count back up there. So back down.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut that out. We're gonna bleep Miller Lite with like, I don't know, Rochester Mills, something. No, but
if it makes you happy, drink it, right? So.
Right. I mean, I drank it, and it's a well-made beer, but to me, I thought it could have been a little bit better.
Cool. Todd, how about you? Any positive, negative experience with beers? What's your favorite beer at this point from them that you've had?
They do so many. It's hard to really have a favorite from Stone. I do enjoy the Enjoy By series. Last year I did have they made a beer. It was Enjoy After. They had bread and Meissen in it. Was pretty good. I don't know if any of you had that one or not.
Yep.
Enjoy.
Actually, I think they made it. Actually, I think they did it twice, maybe.
Did you say Enjoy After?
Yeah. And you had to keep it for about a year. It was like about a year after you had an Enjoy After. I can't remember what the date of it was, but it was like
the balls on these guys.
I want to say it was like August of last.
The balls on these guys to tell you when you can. Like, you gotta wait a year. Pay the money now, but wait a year. It's like, are you serious right now? What is this?
Right. And that was an interesting beer, and I really like the Stone Wooten. What's it? What the hell is it called? The Stone Wooten Parkin or whatever. Stout they have.
Mm-hmm. That's always a good one. They've been releasing that.
I always kind of look forward to that one every year. But to say I have a favorite, there's so many that I haven't had that they make. Like you said, they do so many collaborations. And
yep.
But, I do like if I had to pinpoint one, I guess the Enjoy By series is probably be the go-to.
It's 2 counts. That's
I don't get it all the time.
2 votes. 2 votes. So how about you, Rod? What is your favorite beer from them? Good experiences, bad experiences with them? And then we'll go to
favorite for them. I already said is like the Stone Mocha IPA. In fact, that's like the only Stone I've given a 5 out of 5 on the beers.
And that's on Untapped, specifically.
That's on Untapped.
Because Rod doesn't rate those beers unless he's untapping them. So
yeah, I rarely give a 5 out of 5, but that one just knocked me back. For the first time I had it, like I had it on draft the first time, and it was just so fresh and so clean. So And then when I got in the bottle, like I saw it's like they sell to our Kroger here. First time I saw it was this year, and it's like I think $16.99 for a 6-pack or whatever. Not even hesitation about it. Grab it, throw it in the cart, move on. I mean, it's just that good of a beer for me. But the Stone Chocoveza was pretty close behind it. That's really a very tasty beer. And I was looking back on some of the other ones I've had. One I forgot about that I've only had one time, and this was like I think maybe a year or two ago, was the Sprocket beer, which was really good. And that is their Black Rye Kolsch. And that one was a really good one too. And I haven't seen it anywhere else at the time I got it the one time a few years ago at one of my little spots. One of those weird spots where they get these beers in it. You're like, hey, where'd you get this?
Buy one, get one free.
Yeah, where you get the deals and stuff. So it's like they get beers in from other places, and it's like they haven't got anything like that back in again. But those were like 3 of them. One that I wasn't really as pleased with was the Stone Citrusy. I thought that one was a little bit lacking on that one. I think it was a Citrusy IPA, I believe. It was supposed to be like kind of more of an orange-based one, and it just wasn't, as though it was a wit beer. Stone Citrusy Wit. It wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. It was still good, but I expected more from it, so it was a little bit disappointing with that one. But I do like the Bastard series. The Lucky Bastard is a mix of the Arrogant Bastard, the Double Bastard, and the Bourbon Bastard, all 3 put together, and that's actually pretty decent as well. Haven't done the Tangerine Express, haven't done the Smoked Porter, which I'd be interested in doing. And like you mentioned, that Vanilla Bean, which, like I said, I don't know if they make that or not anymore, but that's one I haven't tried yet. But that would be something that would get my interest.
I'm gonna look for the Mocha IPA this year. I kind of passed that up the last.
You have to probably get here in the next couple of weeks or so before you start pulling it. But yeah, we get to hear it at our Kroger, and this was the first. Last year, you couldn't find it really bottled around us anywhere. Some people around the country were finding it bottled, but all we could get was on draft. So they just started showing up a little bit. And Kroger is the only spot that had it. None of my beer specialty stores even had it in bottles.
And also keep in mind, Todd, that beer was released in mid-June, probably bottled early June, late May. So you're probably pushing 4 months on the, for an IPA. Not that if 4 months is garbage or anything, you're talking about a freshness.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like the next.
They say within 120, so you'd be right at that back edge.
Yeah, you'd be close.
I was thinking more of next year's release to look for it when it comes out again.
Well, now it's kind of, it's springtime now. It's like
spring.
Oh, I don't think I told you, Joe. You'll like this one. This is off the Stone topic a little bit.
Oh boy,
Lake Erie Monster, 4-pack, $5.99.
All right, so we're gonna move on to what I enjoy. We're just gonna ignore whatever this is that Rod's talking about, deals and stuff. Who gets those other than him? Nobody apparently. Now to finish up this topic, that's a great deal. But also to finish up this topic, I have 2. I like the Enjoy By series, but I really like the Woot Stout and the Chocoveza are my 2 favorite. I'd say go to that I try to buy every year. Enjoy By is great, like I said. As far as like IPs, I do miss the Stone Smoked Porter with vanilla beans. That's my jam. No longer exists, my jam.
I'm looking on Untapped and people are still drinking it, I think.
Yeah, I think they just have like kind of like I have this beer today, like just a cellar version of it. Although if they do still produce it at some point or whatever, I'm on board. I'm a buy a lot of it.
One person was June 2017, and before that it was November 2016.
Yeah. So it's one of those beers that they no longer make, but it was great. And I've never really had a bad beer from Stone, like one that I was just discussing with a couple years. I think it was last year. I had their Imperial Mutt Brown Ale or something like that. And I'm not a huge brown ale to begin with. Imperialized version of it just wasn't for me. It was okay, but I really don't drink too many Stone beers where I'm disappointed. Are they all great? No, but they're all at least like 3.5s out of 5s. Like they're all solid, good beers. It's just I like some better than others. So I'm gonna go read the comments now, just because we have a fellow beer tuber / homebrewer in here that some people might know, especially Rod. First of all, we have Drunken One, who is kind of, he's a homebrewer. He's a gardener. He's also crazy drunk. He says, "Y'all drink a beer again?" Yes,
no.
Back when he said this comment, he said, "Wondering who is the one watching." Well, now we have 2 watching, Drunken One. So joke's on you.
Only 2?
Yeah, we have 2. We have 2.
It is a football night though.
Yeah, and Albino Rhino's also. Albino Rhino's going head to head with us, so he's sapping some viewers, I'd imagine too. Drunken One also says, "I'll see if I find out," with a smiley face. Drunken One, you're not funny. Not funny. You're trolling. Bart Robinson says, "Hey fellas, I'm watching from the swamps of Salem County, South Jersey. Cheers."
Bart, make sure you check out my boy Spellbound, New Jersey.
Cheers, sir.
Represent.
Yep. Thanks for watching. Also, Bart, if feel free to post in the chat like some of your experiences with favorite beers, least favorite beers, whatever. Because the next guy, Man Bear Pig, he's a homebrewer, also a beer tuber. He says, "Oh shit, y'all are talking about Stone tonight?" Yes, we are, Man Bear Pig. He says he's just a few miles down the road from Stone Escondido and have always been the biggest Stone fanboy, but I've lost a little bit of my love for them ever since Mitch Steele left and Greg Cook took Greg Cook. I was trying to say cock because
what is that?
It looks like that. Also, he is. If Greg Cook and Mitch Steele left and took a step back from things, and that's true. I didn't mention, but I think Mitch Steele left a couple years ago, which was their head brewer, and Greg Cook, one of the founders with Steven Wagner, took a step back too a couple years ago. I know Greg Cook's still involved in some way. I don't know if it's like a consultant role. I mean, I think
he's doing stuff at Berlin as well.
Yeah, he like day by day hands on. I don't think he is anymore. Mitch Steele, I think, opened his own brewery. I forgot the name of it. Man Bear Pig, you should know because you're a fanboy, you said. Plus, you have great knowledge. So post in the comments Mitch Steele's new brewery, and also if Greg Cook I think he still is like a consultant. He also says his favorite beer or series from them used to be the seasonal releasings of Old Guardian, which we talked about, their barley wine, American Barley Wine Style Ale, and their IRS, the Imperial Russian Stout. He said the single greatest one-off beer they made was the 15th anniversary Escondidian Imperial Black IPA, which I never had a chance to try. And if it's the 15th anniversary, that's 6 years ago. So you're talking 2011 release of that.
You know, they did have a good 12th anniversary oatmeal stout too.
Yeah, their anniversary beers are usually pretty solid, and some of them, like Matt Bear Pig mentioned, some of them are really good. Especially like when they did the anniversary beer of Ruination, and people lost their shit. And now they bring it back every year because it's a great beer. Basement Beer, Jamie, he's here. He says, "You got to troll me because why not?" He says Joel only likes Chocavezas so he can show off how he can pronounce Chocaveza. Correct. Chocaveza. I like when people are like, "Is that Coca Chaveza?" I'm like, probably not, but whatever. It's a good beer, regardless of how you say it. He also said, and this is a reference to, we had a Hoagley Live on Lee Russell's channel last night where things devolved a little bit. Rod was a part of it.
Missed right before I left, right before that happened.
Yeah, there was a little bit of an issue amongst some people, and he said, "Shots were fired." He says, "Just don't bring up how," and I quote, "things have changed tonight." Yeah, I won't do that. I won't do that. Also,
lost footage now.
Yeah. Also, we have a different panel of people who I believe are not drinking a lot and also not confrontational. So, thumbs up from that aspect. But yeah, that was an interesting night. So I guess to finish the segment, what is everybody's general feelings of Stone? Kind of like last week, we all were in the agreement. I think Bell's is a pretty damn good brewery. Todd, when it comes to Stone, is it still a brewery that like you, I don't want to say seek out, but if you see something new and it intrigues you, do you pick it up? Also, like, where do you place them on like I like to say Stone because again, we talked earlier, they're the 9th largest brewery in the US and it's like one of the big craft breweries in the United States. Where do you place them, like personally, amongst like the top craft breweries? Are they in your upper half, maybe top 3, top 5?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're still, I'd say maybe just outside the top 5, if not, borderline, maybe top 5. I mean, they do good stuff, and it's almost, for me, is it kind of borderline? I mean, they do enough stuff that's still craft. Obviously, they're still craft, but they're so big in distribution, and it's like kind of a fine line in my eyes. It's a fine line. I know not by the beer guidelines, it's not, but yeah, I mean, absolutely. They everything I have from them is for the most part fantastic. I don't have any problems with Stone. Yeah, yeah. I like that they do a lot of collaborations and they do enough uniqueness of beers, but they also have their mainstay that's really a solid lineup as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like Stone. I'd put them up there definitely as a
Nice.
top brewery.
And to finish it up for you, what is the one beer you want to try? Is it the Mocha IPA? Is that the beer you're going to be seeking out to try that you haven't from them?
Yeah, I would say after hearing you guys talk about it, I would definitely look for the Mocha IPA. It was kind of one I always passed over just because it sounded like a weird combination for me. But, yeah, I definitely will want to give that a try. So it's hard to really, like I said before, it's kind of hard to say what you're looking or seeking after because you never know what that next beer is going to be. So.
And they have a lot of specialty and rotating releases that you just never know with them, right? So
yeah, for now, I'd say the Mocha IPA is definitely one I'll when it comes back around next June, I'll definitely seek it out.
You do the whole surprise us, Stone. Just surprise us. They always do that, right? How about you, Rod? What how about is there a beer that you want to try from them that you've heard about or you're anticipating?
Yeah, smoked porter with vanilla bean, which I can't get now.
Well, Rita, I asked you to settle down, Rod. Don't be angry at me. I'm just the messenger. They brewed it. I'm all right. What's your overall opinion?
Looking at the beers they have out there, the ones I haven't tried as of yet, one would probably be their Stone Ruination. Stone Ruin 10 Triple IPA. Because I like going big on the IPA, so that would be kind of one.
That's the anniversary. That's the anniversary one that they brewed for the 10th anniversary of Ruin 10, and then they brought back because people liked it so much.
Yeah, and of course their Oak Arrogant Bastard Ale because I like the oak.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Drinking this bourbon barrel tonight. This was a couple years on it, silky smooth, way better than I remember this bourbon barrel aged beer, but also way better than the base beer. Way better.
And what I always hear about that I really never tried was the Americano Stout.
I had that. That was pretty solid as well.
Yeah. So I mean, those are kind of some of the ones out there. As far as I don't know, trying to put them like if they're top 5, top 7. We got like over 5,000 breweries now.
Well, I'm just talking of like the big boys. If you think of like the big craft breweries, is what I'm kind of making. Like if you're talking about your Sam Adams, your Stones, your Sierra Nevadas, your New Belgiums, your bigger craft breweries that distribute to 30, 40 states or to all the states.
I mean, it's almost like by the process of elimination, they're going to be at least top 10 or so, probably top 5. I mean.
What I'm saying, if you actually went to the top 10, I don't know what the top 10 is. Like I said, they're the 9th largest craft brewery. But if you went to the top 10, I'd have to imagine, like as far as like quality, they probably place with most people's top 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a beer that they really miss on. I mean, even like I said, like that Stone Citrusy Wit did knock me back, but I still thought it was probably like a 3.5 out of 5. But I expected more out of it. They deliver across the board, mostly everything.
Like I said, if you're out somewhere and there's a combination of stuff and you're unsure about everything else, but you see a Stone, you can almost guarantee you get into it and you're like, okay, I'm going to get a good beer.
It's Old Faithful, right? It's one of those.
Good beer.
It's like their bad is better than what other people could even think of doing.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. You go to a restaurant or something and you're unfamiliar with the tap list and you're just like you see like Stone, IPA or Stone Enjoy By or something. You're like, yeah, I know the quality of that beer. I know I like it, and I'm gonna drink it because it's a great beer. And there's a lot of breweries that actually follow suit like that. For me, Lagunitas is one of them, but I think Stone definitely is up there for me because I will drink stuff on tap or if I see it at a bottle shop that intrigues me or I've had before. So,
and in an odd way, a lot of these breweries get left behind for that same reason that they kind of like a Bell's, or a Schlafly, for instance. They just make good quality stuff, but they don't do enough outside the box stuff that keeps them staying guys of young guys.
And that's
Stone does that. That's the interesting thing with Stone is they expand far enough out that they still do the oddball stuff, but they're still solid everywhere else.
Stone to me is like the Shoots. Like the Shoots does really good stuff across the board. I mean, even like a Lagunitas, I like a lot of Lagunitas beers, but some of their beers, will leave you lacking on a couple things here
But
and
their
there.
price point is always proper.
But their price point is always awesome, right?
Yeah, you can't beat them for the price.
You can't F with Lagunitas, PG.
But you pick up like the
That's like Rod J territory. Their pricing's like Rod J territory.
Yeah. Whoa. Maybe sometime. Like, I don't even want to see the deals that Rajay gets in his area for Lagunitas. I don't even want to see that.
But I think of the breweries that never fully disappointed me in any type of real way. It was like a Deschutes, a Stone, something like a Left Hand. They always tend to deliver. Great Lakes. It's like good packaging all put together as far as craft breweries. It's like I don't really get as disappointed. I mean, I could pretty much get handed anything from a Stone. I'm going to be pretty much okay with it.
Well, yeah. I feel like Stone hasn't rested on their laurels, and they just haven't been like, all right, we produce these beers, whatever. They're always innovating, or even if they're not innovating, they're keeping with the times with their, their rotating releases and their specialty releases. In addition to, just what I thought was cool is, a couple years back when they changed the recipe to the IPA and the Pale Ale, and even Ruination, where it was like, look, these recipes are 10, 15, 20 years old, and we know that it can't compete with some of these new crazy hop. I mean, back then there wasn't abundance of Citra and Mosaic and all these crazy hops. So it was like, we're going to try something here where we're going to still keep the name of the beer, but we're going to say 2.0 on it, or we're going to say it's we reformulated it. You don't see many breweries do that, where they take like a staple of their year-round beers and they go, we're going to change the recipe, because most people be pissed.
Exactly
but
right.
A lot of people are happy. They're like, oh my God, so you're gonna just try to improve upon your old recipe. That's awesome. Not many breweries do that, so I give Stone a lot of respect for doing that and not being apologetic for it. And they're never
kind of reinvent themselves.
Yeah, it's nice to see. But last but not least, Eric, what's your overall thoughts on the brewery, and is there any beer that you want to try from them going forward?
I would probably like to try again the Ruination 2.0. Only because when I first tried it, I was kind of just getting into the IPAs and into that style of beer. And now that I've kind of came around to IPAs now and I enjoy them a lot more, I would kind of like to bring that back to kind of to see where it kind of ranks right now. But another one is the Mocha IPA, the Delicious IPA, the go-to. I always see Stone, but I always kind of – and – maybe it's because of the mindset of craft beer, saying, ooh, the nice shiny new kind of brewery that's came out. I always kind of grab those and kind of see how they are. But Stone has always been, at least in my experience and other people's experience when I watch them on YouTube, is that they're a solid brewery. I mean, anything you have from Stone is usually going to be pretty good. Like you mentioned, Joe, if you're going over to maybe the tap list and you see Stone, you might be like, I'm going to get Stone because I know the quality of beer is actually really good. And a lot with the Bell's Brewery, you have a lot of actually really good beer there that if you see Bell's, you're probably going to get a Bell's beer. Mm-hmm. So they're a solid brewery. Yet, yeah, some people have hit and misses, like every brewery does. But more times than not, they have solid offerings. So.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, nowadays, if you're talking about a craft beer drinker, you kind of can relate to them as far as what you're talking about, like at a restaurant or whatever, somewhere on tap, to go into like your safe haven, whatever brewery that you're familiar with. That can be said for a lot of macro drinkers who walk into a bar that maybe has 15 or 20 different beers, all macros. But they'll look at them, and then they'll go, you know what, I'm going to get my Budweiser. And that's kind of how a lot of craft people are nowadays, craft beer drinkers, where they'll walk in.
I fall into that category too, Joe.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that walk in, and a lot of these breweries now, a lot of these different craft beer bars and stuff, they'll have 50, 100 beers on tap. And some people just will say, there's so many choices here, which is a great thing, don't get me wrong, but it's overwhelming at times. People just go, give me that Stone, or give me that Founders, or give me that Bell's. And I kind of think that's like kind of what Stone wants, is like to be like a safe haven or something that people recognize and say, you make quality products, never going to go wrong trying one of yours, and that's kind of where Stone, I think, falls at this point. And for me, that's kind of my opinion of Stone. I think for me, punch for punch, pound for pound, they're better than last week's brewery, Bell's. How much? Not a whole lot, but I think I like them a little bit better because I think, as Rod talked to earlier, just the variety, just the sheer number And Todd, the sheer number of beers that they come out with, they're like every year there's, it shows up at least here locally, and I'm on the East Coast, so Stone is not down the street from me. Every month there's a new beer from Stone showing up, whether it's an anniversary beer or a special release, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
fucking train. And it's one of those things where it's one of those things where no longer PG-13, more like rated R. It's one of those things where I always know that I'm going to get a quality product, whether or not I thoroughly enjoy the beer or just it's okay. So I will always try a Stone product that I see that's reasonably priced. I try to stick to their 12-ounce. The whole bomber thing for me is personally played out. It's not that I won't buy bombers, but it's tough nowadays with so many beers out there to commit to a 22-ounce or a 750. So Stone releases a lot of their special releases in those bigger bottles. I wish they would just can them, put them in the 12-ounce bottle, something where I don't have to drink so much, especially if it's something I haven't tried before and I don't know how good it is. I don't want to commit to basically 2 beers at a time. Plus the price point on bombers, that's a whole nother segment at a future date.
That's on the flip side, though, too, a lot of their bombers are reasonably priced. Considering
they are for bombers, though. Like I'll give you an example since we're on the topic. Enjoy By. I don't know what the price is for Enjoy By when it shows up in bombers, or did in the past for you guys. Here it was always $8.99 for a bomber. Some places I heard $6.99, $7.99. Well, then they switched to the 6-pack of 12-ounce bottles, and you're talking anywhere from $15 to $18 for these 72 ounces of beer. Now, if you'd go by ounce, that is a crazy amount you're charging. The price of 2 bombers, which is the equivalent of just under 4 regular 12-ounce bottles, is the same price for a 6-pack. People don't understand how much of a ripoff bombers are in general.
But then if you go to a growler, it's like $12.99. The ounces are better.
Yeah, it's one of those things where bombers are one of the biggest, in my opinion, one of the biggest ripoffs ever. And you see a lot of breweries moving away from that because people got kind of smart to that fact. It was like, holy shit, I could walk in, here's a Stone Enjoy By, it's $8.99. I can go get the 12-ounce bottle for $3. Why don't I just buy 2 of those for $6 and not pay $9 for the bomber? This year, I don't know.
You want people to do math?
Yeah,
because generally bombers were always associated with a specialty type beer.
Usually,
and that's where you fall into the getting trapped as, hey, we're going to do it in a bomber because they're stupid enough to pay $16 for.
One of the most ridiculous things that I've ever seen was this year's release of KBS. I walked into local stores where they had a 4-pack of KBS for $22.99. And then they had a 750 with the cork. I don't think it was corked. It might have been corked. I don't know. But the 750, it was $19.99. And I'm like, look, I'm as Polish as they come. I can't do anything right in my life. Math is a struggle. Not really. I'm pretty good at math. But I walk in and I'm looking. I'm like, $19.99 for 750 milliliters. That's 25.4 ounces.
4, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 25.4. And I'm looking here and I say 48 ounces. Why is this only $2.99 more for almost double the amount? Why? Unless you want that 750 milliliter bottle for collecting purposes, at no point in time should you ever buy that 750. Yeah, guess what? People walking in like, getting the 750. I'm like, just buy 2 of the bottles over there.
You guys want to hear some deals on my last bomber run?
No, we're gonna.
No, not really.
No.
We don't want to get depressed. We don't get depressed, Ron. We're gonna have to comment your channel for 5 seconds. Shut the segment down. Anyway, we'll be done with the segment because it's pretty much done.
No, but real quick on that note, on the flip side, some of these guys are coming out with the bombers like KBS. They're doing a bomber now instead. And I was actually kind of pissed because I was only able to get the bomber this year. I didn't want the bomber. I was wanting.
Sometimes you can only.
The 12-ounce bottle here was like $7.99 at the only place that had it.
Jesus Christ! What fathers? What
exactly? And that's why I'm not as fond of it. I don't think it's worth. Definitely not worth.
It's not worth $8 a bottle, but very rarely are beers worth $8 for a 12-ounce bottle at this point in time. There's so much available. Any final thoughts by anyone before we wrap it up here? Guys, anything? We're good.
Wrap it up on Stone.
Yeah, general consensus. Stone is kind of like Bell's. Stone's a great big craft brewery.
Thumbs up.
I'll start off here, Joe. Stone usually is a very solid brewery, guys. You could probably taste anything on their menu. If you're at the brewery, you'll probably like it. Even though I'm over here in Michigan, I'm not in California or Virginia. Probably if you're at the brewery, you get something from Stone, you're probably going to like it.
And what you said was great. Kind of speaks volumes. Everybody hears from either the Midwest or Northeast part of the U.S., and we all get Stone all the time. Distribution footprint is huge. It's pretty much, if you get Stone, you get most of their releases, just how it works. So
it would be interesting to know if somebody like, well, Drunken One, can he get Stone beers and how many can he get?
Well, like when I pulled up their website, most of them are distributed in every state.
Yeah.
I was going to say that demographic you had was all yellow, and I think that was every.
Might have been
even Hawaii.
But, you know.
When you're the ninth largest craft brewery, I'd have to imagine you're in the vast majority of the U.S. at this point. I mean, and again with Stone Berlin, and I mean, I being friends with a lot of the Canadian guys, especially the guys a lot of in Ontario, the province of Ontario in Canada, they over the last like 6 months, they Stone Go-To showed up, Chocoveza showed up, a lot of those beers. So you're talking about, it's pretty much everywhere at this. Yeah, it's internet, it's everywhere. It's crazy. But
prestige worldwide.
Prestige worldwide. Worldwide. All right, so that wraps up this week's I guess brewery breakdown, brewery spotlight. Like to thank Drunken One for his trolling comments, because that's what he does. Bart Robinson, Basement Beer, and Man Bear Pig, who hopefully watches this back so he can comment at some point, because I think he kind of left. Try to get to the comments as quick as possible when we were talking, and it was like one of those things where it's Drunken One, Bart, and then like all of a sudden Man Bear Pig showed up, 4 comments, and I'm like, holy shit, I should probably read these at some point. And I try to keep my eye on them, but it's when we get into deep conversation like this, you're talking amongst friends. Sometimes the comments get put aside. Do a better job next time, though. That's on me.
That's under your area, so
that's on me.
But I would say for overall, if I was giving them an untapped 5-point scale, I'd probably get a 4.75 as a brewery.
Yeah, I'd give them a solid 4 or 5, 4.5 out of 5. Anybody else?
They're a solid brewery. They are very solid. Even though I've never been to the brewery, they're solid. All their offerings are solid.
Yeah.
No, thoroughly agree.
They definitely bring it for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, show.
So that's the comments on Stone. Any other comments out there? Nobody else said anything about Stone?
No. I think we're good. I think Stone has been played out at this point. See what I did there? I don't even know what I did there. But
yeah.
We'll pretend like we know what you did there.
Opening of Great American Beer Fest.
Oh yeah.
So there should be a lot of stuff coming out of that.
Fellow
Joe D went, so Joe D
will
probably has some stuff, hopefully some good video that he'll upload at some point.
Or if not, I'd imagine check out his Tuesday night Share a Beer show. I believe him, a couple of the panel members, Mark Sinderson, who used to have a beer tubing channel here called Beer, Bike, and Barbecue, and then one day Google was like, you know what, get deleted. And he was like, what did I do wrong? And they're like, we're not going to tell you, but your shit's deleted. Live with it. And he was not pleased, and it sucked because he was one of the OG beer tubers going back to like 09, 10. And but him and Joe and a couple other guys on the panel, another guy, Tom, who's I believe in Massachusetts, one guy, Zach, who lives in Colorado actually and has his own brewery there. I forgot the name of it. They're all hanging out. So if you're curious about GABF and if you're a follower of Joe D, I'd say check out his Tuesday Share Beer, because I'll probably have a decent recap if, like Rod says, he doesn't post some kind of footage from there, which he probably will.
He usually does it on Friday, but I would not be expecting him to do it tomorrow. I think he's getting there tomorrow, actually. So
I think
Friday is when they were getting in.
So that's what I'm saying. I think Tuesday he does his Tuesday Share and he does his Friday Share, but Tuesday I think he's back by Tuesday. So hopefully he does a show. I'd be curious to see how they all enjoyed it.
So if people are following my Twitter or my Facebook page, I'll update different things that I'm seeing from out there. But a lot of breweries release a lot of good stuff at Great American Beer Fest before it hits everywhere else. So it'll be interesting to see what beers come out of there. Any fall beers you guys are pumped up about right now as we are now in fall and there's stuff rolling out?
All of it. I want all of it. It's just so too many.
Can be dumped down.
I always kind of look forward to Founders Arrogant Bastard. That'll be coming out here before long.
You mean Founders
Arrogant Bastard?
You mean backwards bastard?
Backwards bastard.
Yeah, backwards bastard.
Bastards straight, man. Keep your bastards straight.
Todd, again. Todd, this is professionally amateur, and you just.
No, backwards bastard. You looking at the beer too?
What's that?
I thought you were going to say there's a beer you thought you wanted to see when it came out here shortly.
I always look forward to the Sam Adams Winter Lager. That's my favorite kind of fall winter beer.
Well,
And he also said he wanted to pour all the pumpkin beers down the drain.
Yeah, pour all the pumpkin beers down.
I will say this.
What
from
about the coconut? Coconut pumpkin beer.
I like Eric and I don't need to fight. Like we're friends right now. We don't need to, this doesn't need to turn into an argument or a debate. He doesn't like coconut.
Joe, we can have a death match about that.
We can. I'll dust the road, baby. He's no war games, baby. I'll put two rings side by side, baby, to the death.
Well, Pipeworks Brew. I don't know where they're at, but they're doing it.
We'd have to give a rest in peace to Lance Russell, who passed away this week.
Oh, Daddy Lance Russell from
Pipeworks has a collab with 3 Floyds, so that could be interesting.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it if you see it.
You know, Rod, I've never had a 3 Floyds beer ever.
That's on you.
Do you get 3 Floyds up there?
I haven't seen it.
I would think you would get it in Michigan.
I'm pretty sure
their
their distribution is obviously from Indiana because that's where they are. But then Illinois and I believe they are in Ohio and Kentucky, and I think that's kind of it. Like those 4 states.
Shocker! Another beer that I can't get.
I think that picture.
It's probably closer to you than it is to me, and you can't get it. That's kind of.
I can probably go to Angola and get it.
I sent Joe a picture one day. I think I sent it to you. I went to one of our party spots here in Newport, and it was Zombie Dust. Did I send you that picture?
I refuse to answer this question.
So they had a cart, and it was no max, $2.25 a bottle.
$2.25 a fucking bottle.
And much as you want, I only got like a 6-pack. That was nice that day. For other people.
I did. I just walked in and got a 6-pack.
I reached in my pocket and got $3 worth of quarters and got a 6-pack of Zombie Dust.
Here's the thing about
without it, like not being okay. We're only selling 2 bottles of it or something.
Here's the thing about Zombie Dust. It's one of those older hyped beers. Like back when I first got into it, was like super hyped. Like it's like one of those beers where like if you got it, you're awesome. Like when if you reviewed it on YouTube or whatever, it was like. And to this day, I don't care if it's hyped. I don't care if it's not. I don't care whatever. It's still one of my favorite pale ales of all time.
I think it's super solid.
It's for me, it's amazing. It's like everything I want out of a pale ale. It's great.
I see people say it's not what it used to be. I'm like, what? Fucking good? Because it's still fucking good.
Well, that's
what it used to be, but it's still pretty damn good.
It's like one of those things. People don't understand that beer. The recipe was released, in the the mid 2000s, where it was ahead of its time. So now, of course, it's kind of behind where all these half of the amount of hops that are available nowadays weren't available 15 years ago when this was first brewed. You can't compare it to all this stuff now. That's again another segment or another thing where people compare recipes from 15 years ago to stuff being released now. It's like, how can you compare a brand new beer to something 15 years ago when you're talking about all the different advances in hops and malts and techniques? It's impossible. But to this day, Zombie Dust is still an awesome beer. I don't care when it was brewed. It's still awesome.
I think with that one is more the folklore of it than anything. Now it's more readily available. It's kind of fallen down as like, I can get that. So it's not, it's not the unique beer that it once was sought after before.
And you see that from a lot of beers. Once it becomes no longer hyped, no longer hard to get, no longer rare, and it becomes not saying Zombie Dust is because it's not, but a shelf turd. A beer that you can walk into your local bottle shop, local grocery store and pick up. It loses its luster for people because it's no longer something cool or something hard to get, or it's like whatever's in the fucking bottle. That's all that matters. And if it's an awesome beer, I don't care if I have to kill 3 men to get 4 ounces of it. If I can walk in and buy a 6-pack for $8, if the beer is awesome, it's all that matters.
Yeah, and I think that one is a prime example of one that kind of gets left behind, that where it used to be one of the most sought after beers in the country, that now it's kind of fallen down because of the reason, it still isn't widely distributed, but it's more readily available than it used to be. So I think for that reason, and that reason alone is why it's kind of fallen off the pedestal.
Plus the advancements of the New England style beers, the New England style hop forward beers are where it's at nowadays for a lot of the people who, just basically go nuts over that stuff. So it's like if you're not doing a New England style IPA, you're kind of behind the times. And Zombie Dust is as good, or if not better, than the vast majority of New England style pale ales that I've had. Like it still holds up to them for me personally. So it's like a beer that if I can get my hands on, I'm happy to drink it all the time because it's a great beer.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
One last comment. We have Jamie from Basement Beers, and again, he's in Ontario, Canada. He said he recently also saw the Double Bastard and the Vertical Epic, which I think they re-released the 12-12-12. So again, like I'm talking about, Stone is in basically everywhere, but they are releasing much more than just like their base products in Ontario, which is cool to see.
Awesome.
Yep. Good stuff, though.
Cool. Well, I guess anybody else got anything to add here before we roll the PSA from Eric, because we all care.
No, I just to give people a heads up on the next brewery. Is there any thinking behind that, Rod? Is there anything that you've been, eyeing brewery wise? Anything?
I've been debating a couple.
Let's hammer this out right now. Give the viewers a chance to get the beers.
Sneak
I'm
peek.
kind of there. I'm trying to think about Great Lakes or Left Hand.
Ooh, okay. Well, before we get that, just let's point out to any viewers who's watching this, for like an hour and a half, I have no idea. If you are, thumbs up, awesome. You're awesome. If you're not, then I don't know. You're not going to see this. But Rod, about 3 or 4 days before this show goes up, will post on his channel the Beer Flow Show. He will post like the description, will mention what brewery we're doing and what song he's going to use from what hip-hop artist, old school classic hip-hop artist. So check it. If you're interested in this, if you want to
do shit now. What the hell?
Listen, Rod does this.
He's like, went from my sidekick to my producer.
No, yeah, now
Rod, it's your show. You got to do something,
I
damn
just
it.
want people to drink it. No, but anyway, if you do, most of the time, I'm not saying he's going to. I'm going to say
it's like you're grooming me or something.
I'm corrupting the shit out of Rod at this point. But if you check that out, you'll know what beer or what brewery we're doing.
I should have it up there by this weekend and what we'll do for next week for sure.
Yeah, a couple days beforehand at the very least. Check it out and you'll see what brewery we're doing, and then you can grab whatever beer from that brewery and drink along with us. Post your thoughts in the chat if you want. If not, you can just watch. That's cool too. You can dislike. I know Rod likes it.
You guys all get heavy C's too?
Yes.
Do you get heavy C's, Eric?
I haven't heard of those guys, so probably not.
Okay. So I was thinking of a little heavy D next week, but heavy C's would have worked out well.
Well, keep that for future reference. Maybe we can get a beer up to Eric at some point, even though he didn't bring one tonight from fucking Stone. Eric, what are you doing?
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
But we know we can get Left Hand. We know we can get Founders, and we know we can get
New Holland is another one I do get here now, by the way. I do get that here now, just starting this week. We got their Dragon's Milk and their Mad Hatter. So,
New Holland, like a BC Boys new style next week.
Oh, there you go.
Better, hey, decide right now, Rod. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I totally just put you on the spot. Decide now.
Does everybody get New Holland?
Yeah,
Eric does for sure.
I have like 6 beers from them in my cellar, but they also just showed up here for the first time ever, and they are distributing here, so I can get whatever. Yes, I'm on board.
So we'll do New Holland next week.
All right, New Holland Brewing. So
New Holland, all right.
Make sure everybody gets something, just something.
I'm gonna make a note so I remember now.
I'll probably take something out of my cellar because I got a couple variations of their Dragon's Milk, which I probably should drink before they're no longer good.
Ooh, nice.
What variations do you got, Joe?
I have their raspberry lemon, their vanilla chai, their chocolate and coffee, and then one they did with chilies. So
those are all good, very good.
I'll probably bring out a couple of them. Maybe I'll just do all 4 of them at night and just get stupid, like stupider than I already am, but like really crazy stupid. Get hammered.
Random distribution.
Like back in the day, Stupid Fresh.
Oh yeah, stupid. I might get
Maybe
stupid hammer.
Maybe this weekend, Joe, we'll do the malt deed review. Did you drink the malt deed already?
No, I have it in my fridge. So if you want to do it this weekend, we can figure it out.
The malt deed.
The Maudit, I'm on board. Yeah, I got that, and a couple others I still have in the fridge from Unibrew that I haven't drank yet. So
yeah, but I mean, we can keep rocking, or if we want to wrap up, I got one more. I got one more stone beer left.
Your show.
I got another stone beer. So
Rod, we're just like your sidekicks over here, just like yes, sir.
At some point, Rod, it's your show. You got to take control.
I mean, It's not like we're being belligerent or anything. It's not like we got to go offline because we're being dirty. It's like whatever. I mean, I'm sure.
Still debating, Eric. We talked a couple weeks ago about actually doing a review on a review. Like Eric said, do one of mine. To actually set it up and review a reviewer's review, just to see what people would think of that. Would it be interesting?
A review of a review. I might.
Like a Beer Science Theater 3000.
Depends on if you guys are honest or not.
Yeah.
Can't be too nice, can't be too mean.
It might start a new trend on YouTube. Everybody start reviewing everybody else's videos.
I can't believe this man is drinking 4 ounces of that beer and it's already gone, and he's acting like he's sniffing it and tasting it for the first time ever. What the hell is this?
That could be one there for. Yeah, I don't get that. I'm not going to say the name of the person, but
No.
if you're doing a beer review,
Joe, we could be the leaders in that tube.
Yeah, well, no one can watch any of our reviews because they don't exist.
Right, exactly. We'll just review everybody else's reviews.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Or like today, we had a stone beer that everyone's had. And you could throw up a review right here. And we could be like, "What the hell is he talking about?" Or yeah, we agree with that.
I'm actually surprised there's not like a beer troll channel yet out there from some of the beer. I mean, people put troll comments, but actually somebody reviewing other videos and trolling them the whole time.
There is a guy that not so much his website's pretty good, but his channel is basically just making fun of like people who go too nuts over like hyped beers. His name of his channel is Don't Drink Beer. So we take like Bourbon County Stout and all the crazy variants and stuff, and he would be like, you gotta get the special cuvee. He's called the cuvées. He would like say in his weird voice. So he would take like the beer, pour it in a French press, and pour all these crazy ingredients on it, and just go to town and be like, oh, now you got the coconut bourbon barrel and stout, and it was hilarious because he's trolling the people who go nuts over all that stuff. And he does the same thing on his, but like he drinks good beer, but he would just make fun of some of the beer tubers who basically took it too seriously, more or less. And it was always fun to watch his reviews. I haven't checked out his channel in a while though.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Isn't there one out there that's also just like pours and he just chugs every beer that there is?
Yes.
He does a review on it, but he just chugs everything.
Yes, and it's all again that crazy. Like he would take like Dark Lord from Three Floyds and he would just pop it open and do a crazy chug. And I remember he did it in line once, waiting in line at a bottle release. People were all looking at him like, "You're a fucking idiot." Hilarious, but it was like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?"
Some of the Facebook groups get upset at people that do chugging videos. It's like, what's it really matter? Is their beer? If they want to chug it,
Yep.
chug
At
it.
the end of the day, did you
money? They paid for it. They can drink it how they want it.
People are like saying like it's so disrespectful. This person chugged that craft beer.
That's because
It's
a lot of
beer.
it's a lot of people get upset because it's like, okay, you're drinking the special rare beer that only a certain amount of people can get, and it's like, if I had that beer, I would treat it the right way. I'd do a proper review. I would enjoy every ounce of it. It's like,
I would hold
down.
it, I caress it, and I would kiss it.
It's like, it's an alcoholic beverage. Settle down, bro. Get it under control. It's an alcoholic beverage. You're supposed to drink it, whether you're chugging it or whether you're enjoying every ounce of it. If you paid for it, you do what the fuck you want with it, because that's how that works.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there was one channel. It was chugging beer reviews. I don't know what the name of the full channel was, but he would just see the two guys would chug the beers. They usually would like belch, and they'd give the review of the beer.
Wow. I remember there was a dude that would do straight chugs, and he did like 120-minute from Dogfish Head in like 10 seconds. I'm like, damn,
whoa,
that's like insane. Like, I don't even know how I'd feel. I'd be instantly buzzed.
It's the old game where you put your head down on a stick and you spin around and then try to walk afterwards or something.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Dizzy Whiz.
Yeah, I don't. Ugh. Yeah, no, there's.
How do you even get mad at somebody? How do you even get mad at somebody doing that? Because it's like, you're the man. If you can fucking do that and still be standing, you're.
Yeah, high five, right? Like, good job, Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know what it may like. I don't know what it is about craft beer or like the craft beer hobby or whatever, but like, I guess this is probably stands for most hobbies, but you just see so many people take it. I don't want to say too seriously. I don't want to use that phrase, but just, it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, it's craft beer. And it's like, it's just an alcoholic beverage. Who cares if people are crushing them? Who cares if people are doing reviews? Who cares if people just, are whatever they're doing with it, they paid for it. It's an alcoholic beverage.
I'm not drinking it to
yeah, there's no. You drinking that?
Speaking of the
what's the date on that? What's the date on that, Rod? Rod, what's the date on that? Come on, what's the date?
It's the bottom. Enjoyed by 11/9/17.
Oh my God, it's fresh. It's fresh.
It's always fresh. But luckily, the store I bought these at, I was going through for a while, buying individuals. I need to pick up a couple for the show. And one guy's like, "Hey, you need any help or anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm just checking the dates."
Yeah,
because they had a bunch of shit on their counter where they were outdated. I should just start telling stories. You know what? You need to put these in a bargain bin. These aren't good anymore.
You know what? There's some breweries like Firestone Walker and I think Stone where, like, if you go to a local bottle shop, you can go on their website and just send in information. Like, I went to this place and these beers were out of date, and they'll actually contact the distributor or somehow get through to the store, and they'll make sure that they get fresh product in, which I thought was pretty fucking cool. But you do see a lot of the one brewery that has trouble on the East Coast, and more specifically here where I live in Western New York, is Firestone Walker. Like, when their beer shows up, it shows up like their IPAs show up like already a month and a half, 2 months old, like fresh. I'm like, that is, in this day and age, I don't need beers 2 minutes old or whatever, otherwise I'm pouring it down the drain. But I don't think it's too much to ask to get a fresh beer that's maybe like a month old max when it's new. I don't think that's too much to ask in this day and age. And it is apparently for Firestone Walker a little bit too much to ask. Very frustrating, but that's why there's a bunch of other beers you can drink.
It's gotten to a point. I mean, I look at them all for the dates now. If it doesn't have a date, I usually won't buy it unless it's like an Imperial Stout or Imperial Porter, like that, where it's like over the 8%. It's kind of like, okay, this is going to hold, so I'm not worried about it. But if it's like an IPA, or if it's like a wit beer, or if it's like some other type of ale or lager, there's no date on it, I'm usually not buying it now. But if it's like a date expired, I'm definitely not getting it. So
for me, it's kind of technique, and also for hop forward beers, it's technique and hops. Like some of these newer hops that have rose to prominence over the last, say, 4 to 5 years, like your Citra, Mosaic, and there's like Eldorado and Galaxy, a lot of the Australian and New Zealand hops. The way a lot of these brews are using them, you'll see a lot of double dry hopped. They're dry hopping them. Double dry hop just means they basically use a shit ton of hops, and what happens is those beers fall off a lot quicker than like your normal regular IPA. So, but a lot of times those beers are sometimes too fresh when they double dry hop these beers with certain hops. You'll get some of these beers that are a week or two old, and you're like, oh, this is super fresh. And you'll get it, and it's like, it's almost like, a lot of people say green, but it almost has what people refer to as a hop burn, but it's almost like too fresh. But there's a sweet spot there where like you want to drink it between like 2 weeks and like a month and a half, 2 months. And it's all because of the technique plus the hops. It's like, it kind of sucks because you have to put, I guess, too much research into a lot of this stuff now to drink it and make sure whatever. But I don't know. I think people are just nowadays are a little bit too concerned with the freshness in a lot of regards. I've had IPAs 4 or 5 months old that are still fucking amazing. And,
Well, I would agree.
I mean, that's what hops was for, was to preserve the beer in general anyway, originally.
Yeah,
so.
It's like we talked about before, if you're drinking IPA, if you went back to when they created IPA, you weren't drinking it till like 6 months later anyway. Yeah. Because the hops were the preservative to actually hold the freshness in, because it had to go across the ocean. And so when you're drinking it early within the 3-month period, it's not really how it was originally designed. Nowadays they pitch it that way, but it wasn't originally designed to be that.
What's hilarious,
and a good majority of these IPAs aren't getting to you fresh anyway. So it's like you're getting them and they're already 3 months old from when they're actually bottled because of distribution. It's like,
well, and a lot of distributors just sit on the thing, like they just sit in their warehouses, and who knows what the temperature in those warehouses are, or what's going on. You would like to think if a beer shows, I mean, the best way to buy a beer obviously is going to the brewery and buying it fresh. It was minimally handled, and you know it's fresh.
It's always the best, yeah.
Yeah, it's not possible for everybody, but like if you care that much, you either have to do that or know wherever you're getting that they properly take care of it, because not all two bottle shops or grocery stores are like. There's some bottle shops where they'll let stuff sit out in the light. Granted, if you're in a darker bottle, the light struck issue isn't as big as if you're in a clear bottle or a green bottle. But if you're going to go drink an IPA that's been sitting room temperature for 2 months on the shelf, it's not going to be good as that beer that was back in the cooler in the cold for the same amount of time. Not all two beers are created equal. It depends on how you're stored. And it's like you can only take what people tell you. I mean, it's like that's what you have to go off of. But who knows how your beer is being stored nowadays either. It's like you have no idea. Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I get to know the people where I'm actually buying the beer at, kind of get an idea of their operation and stuff. So like a couple of the stores, I'm pretty confident I can buy their beers. Even if it's not dated, it'll be okay. But a couple of others, like, a little bit of shadiness more here. So,
yep.
But you experiment with stuff. Like I said, I bought that one. I joke about that one being the Lake Erie Monster was $5.99, but it's like 2 weeks past what the date was or whatever. And you know what? If you've had that beer, you know it's still going to be a good experience. So for $5.99, you're like, hell yeah, I'll still buy it.
Yep, for sure. We actually had a couple more messages from Jamie, which from Basement Beer, and then he retracted every single message. So I don't.
You were ignoring Jamie.
Well, no, I sent him a message on Facebook. I said I was going to just read him, so I don't know why you're tracking. But he did mention that he follows some malt liquor drinkers. He doesn't drink malt liquor himself, but he finds some of the malt liquor videos interesting and entertaining, so he watches them. And I know. I mean, Bum, our buddy Bum from Joe
I like watching Bum with Joe D because he does a really good rundown. I didn't know there's this whole malt liquor community he does that he follows too. So it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff happening in the malt liquor world.
Yeah, it's funny because when you talk about BeerTube, the first thing people think about is what? Beer reviewers, right? Like, okay, you review beer, whatever. But there's like 3 separate types of beer tubers. There's the beer reviewers, it's the home brewers, and then there's the malt liquor drinkers. And it's like they're all in their own different world. And it's awesome to see like the subset of beer tubers. But it's you get entertainment depending on what you go to. And
and then you get the beer fans. They're just fans of the beer too.
Yeah, like Todd and I. I mean, I've been watching craft beer reviews and beer tubers going back to 2009. And I remember when it first started out, there was only a handful of beer tubers, the OGs, as I like to call them. And I've seen how the beer tubing landscape has changed. And that was kind of the discussion we had last night on Lee's channel, which got kind of heated and debated, but it was like one of those things where it was cool. It's cool to see. I wouldn't say beer tube nowadays is either better or worse than it was, say, 6 or 7, 8 years ago. It's just different. There's way more beer tubers. I feel that from that perspective, it's awesome because there's something out there for everybody. Regardless of what your tastes are, from personality to length of video to production values to location. If you really are interested in craft beer and you're interested in people being a beer tuber, and there's somebody out there for everybody. There's at least one beer tuber that will connect with you. And that's the great thing about having hundreds and hundreds of beer tubers now. It's like I can pick and choose what I want to watch based on what I enjoy. It's like there's not just 7 people out there, but I used to watch beer tubing back in the day and it was great too. So it's just a different time, I guess. But it's still awesome. I still enjoy it.
Yeah, that reminds me, big shout out to Holly as well, Holly's Happy Hour. So she did a video last week that kind of threw me back, but she's doing like these new shout out videos. So last week she did a shout out to me and talked about, when she started doing stuff and watching videos, like kind of weird. Like, what do you mean? She's like, I was like one of the first people she said started watching and getting into the beer type stuff. And it was like, me? Really?
You're an inspiration, Rob.
And being positive and all kind of stuff. And I thought back, for me getting into it, when I got into it, it was kind of like distracted. He was kind of that way when I first got into it. Sending stuff to some of the other guys, like watching some of the stuff that Simon did, but sending stuff to like Joe and some of the other guys out there. But it's kind of weird. Like now, like somebody's looked at me doing the same thing. It's like, really? But appreciative as always. And Holly's she does a lot of different fun stuff on her channel. She's doing more with the wine and different stuff. She's now getting involved more with the festivals. She's got some great stuff. Her editing alone makes it great to watch. She does some great stuff editing her videos that she's passed me on that part of it for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean the only beef I have with her, she's drinking a Henry's hard orange soda on there. I don't know what that. No, I'm just kidding. That's funny though. She's drinking it. She's like, she's like, shout out to Rajay. I'm like, is this where Rajay falls in the hard orange soda category? I don't. What is happening?
I do dig her Mason beer glass as she calls it or whatever. The Mason jar beer glass. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Those are always great. It has a stem on it too, like a stem.
There's a stem on it too. Yeah. It's like that should be somewhere in the trailer. That is just so fancy, right there.
Yeah, that's way too fancy for me.
Solo cup with a stem on it.
Yeah, the red solo cup with a stem on it. That's you're evolving at some point.
But that's the fun. That's the fun of the beer community. You just never know when everybody's having a good time for the most part.
Yeah, and when people talk about, I mean, you have certain individuals talk about drama and stuff. It's like in any hobby, you have assholes. That's how hobbies work. You're going to have a select few that kind of just always want to. I don't want to say start stuff, but just it's one of those things where it's like not everybody's going to get along just because you have one common thing that you're all interested in. Just because we all like beer. This guy over here could be a mass murderer. I'm not high-fiving this guy over here. This guy, could be a piece of crap or whatever in certain terms. He could be, a criminal. It's like, because we like beer, it doesn't mean I'm going to be your friend. One of the things. So it's like, try to be friends with other people that I like, but also we happen to also enjoy beer at the same time. It's like one of those things. It's, it's all about, I guess, the friendship is, I think for me, comes first than the beer. Like beer is just beer. I enjoy it, but we've all come together because of beer. Like us four right here, we wouldn't be chatting if it wasn't for craft beer, would we? No. But I think at some point your friendship or hanging out with somebody kind of surpasses talking about the beer and enjoying the beer,
And nobody takes it too serious. I think some of them just take it way too serious, and it's either their way of life, or if you don't agree with them, then you're on the outside looking in, and you're stupid. It's their way or the highway, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like you said, it's just you're having a beer, you're chatting, you're bullshitting about whatever you want to, whatever you. No. It's just a good time to, for me, it's a good time because. I'm getting to enjoy through your all's channels, not you, Joe, but your all's channels.
God damn it! What? Channel's the best.
We have fun, and we try to share information about beer.
It is a common. The common denominator is beer, but you also kind of expand on top of that.
Yeah. But skip into because we sometimes do this, the What's on TV type segment of the show, because we all talk Snowfall. With Snowfall game. Just got through Defenders finally.
I haven't.
That's some good shit on Netflix.
Is it worthwhile?
Oh yeah, it all builds up nicely to Defenders now. So
I've only got through the first couple episodes. I haven't watched it all yet.
Yeah, by the end, you're like, what the hell? Yeah, it was really good. Now I'm waiting for the Punisher to start. So
for me, Mr. Robot
Stranger Things has already come back out too. So.
Yeah, Stranger Things 2 is about to come out.
Stranger Things, Mr. Robot for me next week starts. I'm looking forward to season 3 of that. Also, I saw you were watching. I don't know how far you got or if you're going to continue, but The Deuce on HBO.
So I'm all caught up on The Deuce now.
I like it.
It's kind of a mixed feel, and I kind of like it. It was kind of a little bit of dry. It's kind of like
I like that about it though. Like I feel like it's ramping up though. It's going to start getting better. Like it's like slow starting. Like I kind of see where I think it's going and I'm excited, but like the first couple episodes are just like they're kind of setting the tone or whatever, and it's kind of it hangs in areas, but I'm still surprised that James Franco just actually being able to act.
The mob guy working with Franco. I mean, maybe because I'm from Jersey, I like mob guys.
Mob guys.
I recorded the first 2 episodes of those, but I haven't watched any of them yet. So
it's picking up a little bit, but it's a slow start, I think. But I think, like Joe said, they're laying the character background, to everything.
And I think because it's an hour episode, I think you get a little bit more of the dragging. Because it's like if it was like a 30-minute episode, I don't think it would drag as much. But I think they're trying to set the scene for what's going to happen, and it's like there's parts 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there that they could have probably done without some of the dialogue, but at the same time it's like I get where they're going, and there's a lot of naked stuff happening, so sign me up, I guess.
Well, I've got
for me, hands down, the best show I've watched this year so far, hands down, is Snowfall.
Yeah, Snowfall kind of blew me away when I watched that. But I've got so much stuff that was on my DVR is to catch. I'm finally just now starting to watch Fargo, which is pretty good. Ewan McGregor's pretty good on that one.
That's crazy. Just now, huh?
Just now. I got so much stuff to do. Well, that and drinking beer and doing everything else. If I would have been born rich and I had to go to work, I'd have been okay. I'd have been all caught up on
so much stuff, not enough time.
I could have been laying around like I could just laying around like Billy Madison, you know?
Yeah. Jamie, who retracted all the comments. No, Billy Madison. He didn't chime in about name, but he said he said he retracted them on Facebook. He said he retracted them because we were kind of past the topic, and I'm like, just leave them there. I'd still read them. But anyway, he says everyone can get along, Joe, if you make them. Well, we're not trying to get everything. Not trying to make it. He also said,
if you groomed them right.
Yeah, if I'm the point man to make everyone love each other. He also says just watch all of F is for Family, and it was really good. And I would agree with him. Bill Burr, it's on Netflix. It's
I heard that was good. I heard that was pretty
good. It's called F is for Family. It's basically an adult. It's like it's kind of like
animated series, right?
Yeah, it's an adult animated series where it's kind of based on like the 70s, and it's pretty fantastic because I think a lot of people
can watch Rick and Morty when I can because you got me looking at that.
Yeah, they just wrapped up season 3 this past Sunday. So he also says Nudie Magazine Day. What's that?
He said Nudie Magazine Day.
Yeah, that's what Jamie said.
Somebody in the basement saying Nudie Magazine is not a good sign.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he'll have a panel van and be passing out ice cream to the kids.
Yeah. Jamie, that's all Rod. It's not me or anyone else. It's all Rod. 100% on Rod. That's on him.
BeerVentures.com.
He's a huge fan of Mocha IPA from Stone Brewing Company. Oh, crap.
Oh, man.
I don't know where else to go from there. That was no good segues.
Forever.
Segues are out the freaking window.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and we can still keep drinking, but we'll wrap this up so Eric can say the PSA.
Hang on, he said that Nudie Magazine Days from Billy Madison. God damn you! I used to watch shit out of Billy Madison, but I actually forget that. Like I did like Billy Madison, but I was also more Happy Gilmore. Even though I like Billy Madison, I was like more Happy.
Billy Madison had funny parts though. I mean,
it did.
His buddies just laying around. What do you mean you're going to school? Why would you do that?
It's cool to crap your pants. Yeah.
But I still quote Tommy Boy with Chris Farley too. That's just.
Dude, I've watched Tommy Boy.
That's a great one.
Especially being in sales. We'll be in sales. We'll be in the middle of the office, and somebody will just say chicken wings.
Chicken wings. Tommy likey. Tommy wants wingies. Yeah, it's.
Luke, I am your father.
Yeah. Were you calling from a walkie-talkie? That's when he starts going in on him. Did I catch a niner in there? Yeah, it's great.
Niner, yeah.
Going back to Adam Sandler, I don't know if he's done a movie like in the last year or two, has he?
Who's Sandler? Yeah, he does them for Netflix.
It's a Netflix movie. I
he has like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
I remember doing a series type movie a while back.
He signed an exclusive deal with Netflix a while back where it was like, let me go see if I can find it. It was some ridiculous amount. It was insane. It was like, I don't know, like 20-30 million a movie or something. And he was just like, yeah, totally do Netflix. And they all get poor reviews because.
Well, I would too if I got 20 or 30 million.
Yeah. I mean, I can't blame the guy.
You put me in Pluto Nash too, and I do it for that amount.
I saw something that if you 10 years ago, if you would have put $1,000 in stock in Netflix, it'd be worth like $65,000 today.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I can't beat the Bitcoin now.
So they're also increasing their subscription. I think like a couple.
Oh, they're increasing the price.
Yeah, $10.99 for the $9.99 one, and then I think $13.99 for the $11.99. So the middle one is going up $1, and the big one's going up $2. You know, because everyone can't afford an extra dollar.
The big one, do they still send out CDs or whatever?
I
don't think so.
DVDs.
Well, I think it's just all.
Why would you need the big one then? Because I mean, the big one used to be they would send you the movie.
Yeah, I think it's like Ultra HD and more accounts you can sign.
No, I think it has to do with how many TVs you can stream on at a time. Which I didn't know that, but I was just reading that article. I think the premium you can stream on like up to 4.
All right, so here's the difference. For the extra $3, you get Ultra HD available, which I don't know if that means 4K or 1080p or whatever, and you can watch it on 4 screens at a time. That is the only difference between, instead of 2. That is the only difference for $3 extra.
So if you have kids,
no thanks.
Like to watch their stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I can't imagine that there is more than 2 people in a single household on Netflix at the same time, unless you have a lot of children.
I'm trying to watch my show right now. I need you to hurry up.
Yeah, get off! We only got 2 accounts. What the hell?
It's like the old dial-up. People don't remember back in the day. They're like under 25 or whatever, probably. But when you're on the phone, they had the old dial-up system, and your mom would get on the phone. Mom, I'm on the computer.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Try to play some new.
Get off the computer. I need to use the phone.
Put him in the middle of a game. Yeah, that was.
Even though it took you like 20 minutes to get on, so it's like, you know.
It used to be crazy because that I mean, growing up, I'm a little bit younger than both Rajay and Todd, probably by like 5 years or so. So when I was the internet was just starting to go in like the mid 90s, and I would come home from school, and I would like set up with my buddies and be like, all right, could go home, play Duke Nukem. You know, you had to do, so I'd get there and I'd be like, all right,
classic right there.
Look, from about 5 to 7, no one could use the freaking phone because I'm playing Duke Nukem. And then I'd be playing, and then all of a sudden I get disconnected. And what happens 2 seconds later? The phone's ringing. What the? Who's calling? I'm playing Duke Nukem.
Son of a, don't you know?
I was winning. I had him. Yeah, and it would be one of those things where it was like, all right, we gotta play it like 10 at night because then no one's calling. Hopefully, hopefully nobody.
Yeah, everybody's asleep.
Yeah, everybody's asleep. I'll just have to rein myself in when I celebrate when I win. Just take it crazy.
That's like when you used to you had Napster. It'd take you used to take like 20 minutes to download one song off of Napster.
Yes,
back in the day.
But you didn't have to pay for it, so it was fantastic. You're like, this is totally worth it. I could be spending like $10-12 on the CD. It said, guess what? It's free.
What are you doing tonight? I'm downloading an album. It might take me about 6 hours. But...
Yeah. That
was always the best thing because the whole album started to suck. So I was like, I don't even want 2 songs on it.
Yep.
Yep.
Pretty much.
So why don't you buy the whole album? Why don't you make a better album?
Why don't you make it worthy of listening to?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say it again, but might be the perfect way to end it. But that's on you. That's on them. They just make better songs.
Make better
albums. That's the one thing is like so many albums from 20, 30, 40 years ago. There are a lot of songs on each album that you'd be like, all right, it's worth buying this album because there's 4 or 5 songs at least I want to listen to. And nowadays, like, I think so many artists just go for that one hit song because they know people will just go spend 99 cents and buy it. And if they have, fucking 6 million people buy that song, good to go. Just from that one song, good to go.
Joe might be too young to remember, but the old things you would get like in a TV guide or a magazine where you get like 12 songs for 99 cents back in the day when you would actually
Columbia House.
You saying I'm too old? Columbia House? I signed up to that shit, Rod. I signed up to it.
You fill in the little code number. You're like,
Yeah.
shit. I need 2 more songs to send this thing in.
I'm pretty sure I got.
This song's gonna want to get now.
I'm pretty sure I got like Pearl Jam's 10 and Nirvana's Nevermind, and then I was like, oh, I should probably cancel this because.
And then they would send a bill, and it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not paying your
like,
bill.
I was like, I have 1 cent. I have a single cent. It's not a Bitcoin. It's a penny. Yeah, no, it was. I did sign up.
The kids today will never know that struggle.
No, the struggle was real back then. It was like, wait, so if I want to listen to this one song, I have to put a cassette in and tape it off the radio? That seems like too much effort.
I was just getting ready to say that. It's like I remember as a kid listening to Casey Kasem's Top 40 on Sunday nights with my cassette recorder holding up to the radio and be like, shit, I'm missing this.
Yeah.
They don't know the struggle.
Talking in the background while you're trying to record. You're like, Mom, I'm trying to record the song.
Killed my tape, man.
Yeah.
Killed it.
I'm recording it here.
Keeping your finger next to the pause button while you're recording.
Play, record.
And then so many times you hoped like on the outro or the intro, the DJs weren't talking over the song. You're like, motherfuckers, I want to hear this. I want to hear shut your mouth. I don't care about what's up next or tomorrow or whatever event's going on. I want to listen to the last 30 seconds of the song, please.
Or the rewinding of
the good old days.
We had to rewind the cassette tape.
Oh, that's not
nothing worse when the whole thing would just like come flying out and you had to get a piece.
You're like, you got a pencil?
Now I'm just reminded at how much effort we put into to like listen to some of our favorite songs and thinking about it. I don't know if I'd ever do that again like that. Maybe when I was younger I would do it because obviously that was fun. But it's just like holy shit.
Part of the cassette tape would be a little wrinkled and had to play through, but you would ignore that little part.
I remember the days when I thought you got to the end of the tape and automatically flip sides without having to taking it out and flipping it over. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like oh shit, you ain't got to take it out no more.
It was the best. I remember when CDs came out, and I was like, "This is I can just skip to the song. Like I could go right to the song. Why? Like I could just go, like hit a button, and like I'm playing. I don't have to sit here and hold the fucking fast forward. This is the greatest thing ever.
Rewind it or nothing.
Yeah,
but the packaging was awful. Like really, you get that big old box and stuff you had to go through just to get this little CD.
I remember having like the 5 CD changer was like a miracle. I'm like, holy shit, I can put 5 CDs at a time, and I could just skip what song I want and shit. Oh my god, this is like I'm on my own DJ. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing.
Looking back, that was the start of the laziness, right?
Oh yeah,
5 CD changer because you could.
You're like, what's that 5th CD going to be though? That's when they got real.
Probably a song with one good or one song
the first
that was good on the
that
album.
5th one. Yeah.
I'll just throw this in because I like this one song, and we'll just play it over and over. I'll pay $10.99 to listen to this single song. That's all.
Oh man, yeah, the struggle was real back then.
Maybe a bit too real.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to wrap
better
this
than
up.
the 45s of the A side and the B side.
Yeah.
Well, the 45s weren't bad unless you lost a little. But you're like, Jesus Christ, I need that little thing you put in the middle so I can put it on the damn record player. Then you try to balance it perfectly without it and just hope the needle helps. Yeah.
Should we end it with a PSA from Eric? Eric, PSA, you ready? Ready for your PSA?
So, Eric,
Well, it's up to Rod.
He's down.
it's all you. Oh, and before Eric does it, make sure you check out Eric's, because I don't think you introduced your channel, Eric and Lions Fan channel.
Oh, he did. He did tonight earlier.
Yeah. I did.
Okay, cool.
I'd like to introduce my channel. Hang on. It's called It Doesn't Exist. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead, Eric.
No, Joe.
Hey, I got it.
Wait, no, Todd has more. Todd has more. He has a very popular YouTube channel.
All
All right, guys. If you had too much to drink, please get a designated driver.
What's going on? Eric got his spiel.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
All right, I'm going to try this again. Guys, if you've had too much to drink, please get a designated driver. In this day and age, it's stupid to drive drunk. But if you're feeling like a hero, you're going to get pulled over by the cops. You're going to do the stupid sobriety test. You're going to go to jail, get court fees, and then possible prison time. And then, guys, if you hit or kill somebody, you're going to be in the slammer for quite a while. And if you kill yourself, you're going to be 6 feet under, and all you've done is hurt your family and friends. Sleep off your buzz. Get your car the next day. Get an Uber, taxi, Lyft, call a buddy. Call someone at the bar or ask someone at the bar to take you back home, just something. Because really, if you do that and your car gets impounded, that's really the worst that's going to happen. So sleep off your buzz and get your car the next day. There
you go. I like the hero line. That was a new addition.
Yeah, that was a new addition. That threw me for a loop. I was like, holy shit. That's different. But, I'm confused, but I like it.
Nice.
So we'll go on and close it out here. And thanks everybody that tuned in earlier and throughout the course. And before I close out, I almost be remiss in just saying that in all seriousness, that all thoughts go out to people in the Las Vegas area and the people that were there. And hopefully the people watching, you haven't been impacted family, friend-wise and stuff. But again, thoughts definitely go out to the people. And as a society, we have to do better. So I'm just going to leave it like that.
Agreed.
And then next week, hopefully you'll be back, and maybe we'll have more people that watch. And we'll be talking about new. As Joe's yelling, we'll be talking about New Holland Brewing and some other things happening in the beer world, and it'll be another crazy episode. See you guys next time, and as Eric Lions fan says, deuces.